This is Jarrod Horak for the RunawayHorse.com, and welcome to my video race of the week. In this one, I'm going to do a stakes doubleheader from Del Mar for Friday, August 7th, Saturday, August 8th, 2021. Before I do that, if you're interested in my full card analysis each day from Del Mar, head on over to the RunawayHorse.com. On my sales page, you can buy individual full cards. I have weekly packages for specials, weekend packages, and then for the rest of the meet, the full meet package as well. So if you're interested in my Del Mar analysis, you can get that on my sales page at therunawayhorse.com. For bonus free selections from Saratoga each weekend, you can find those on the New York page at therunawayhorse.com. Then I have some other free selections at horseраcingnation.com. I do a daily best bets blog, and it's on the front page at Horse Racing Nation in the handicapping section each day. And for Saturday, August 6th, I'm going to be doing the Alydar Stakes, and then I'll do some stakes races this weekend from around the country. I also have a daily free selection on the official Del Mar website. So go onto the Del Mar website, click on the Handicappers tab, and then click on Free Picks, scroll down to Horse Racing Nation, click there, and you'll see my free selection from Del Mar each day. And one other thing, if you're interested in reading my weekly reports from Del Mar, I cover track bias information, jockey trainer leaders for each week. I look at the stakes recaps and full card highlights from my full cards as well. And you can find those reports each week on my California page at therunawayhorse.com. Now, last week's video I covered for Sunday, the Clement L. Hirsch Grade 1 at Del Mar. My top choice in that race, She Dares the Devil, got the job done. So now let's see if I can give out at least one, hopefully two top choice winners for this week's video. And let's jump into the analysis for this week. And I'm going to start with, for Saturday, August 7th, the 10th race from Del Mar, the Grade 2 Yellow Ribbon Handicap, fillies and mares, a mile and a 16th on the turf course with a scheduled post time of 9:36 p.m. Eastern Time. Bodhicitta, the defending champion, is number 1, and she is 6-1. In the 2020 Gamely, she rallied to finish second, and then she shipped to Del Mar from Santa Anita. She stalked the pace from an inner post, and she won the Grade 2 Yellow Ribbon by a nose. Flavien Prat rode that day. And she only ran one other race last year in the Matriarch last fall in November. She finished 8th. And then they laid her off, brought her back in the Gamely, again, just like they did last year. And in the Gamely, where I said she was second in 2020, she was third, beaten a length in 2021. Pace was hot. She rallied off the pace from the outside post. Good effort. Trevor McCarthy rode her that day, so he knows her now. And look for her to save ground and try to rally, because I think that there is enough pace to help her. And I wouldn't be shocked if she won this one. The 2, Raimondo Secret, is one of the horses that likes to show early speed. She's 3 for 4 at Del Mar. Note that she's 5 for 9 lifetime with no seconds and no thirds. So she's the type of horse that likes to get out there, control the pace, and keep on going like she did in the Grade 2 John Maybe at Del Mar last September. But she hasn't been in good form in her last couple stakes races, and she meets others' speed. The 3 in here is Charmaine's Mia. She's 4-1 morning line for trainer Phil D'Amato. Now, Phil D'Amato had an excellent Santa Anita meet, but he's struggling. He's just 1 for 31 at Del Mar, and a lot of his horses are taking money and underperforming. So his barn right now isn't hot. I'm sure before Del Mar's over, he's going to heat up at some point, but he hasn't yet. Now, Charmaine's Mia ran in the Gamely, and she set the pace. And the pace was quick, 45 and change, 109 and change. She could not keep going that day. They went after her in mid-race, and she just couldn't keep going. She finished 6th, beaten 3 lengths in that 7-horse field. She won a couple Grade 2s at 1 mile at Santa Anita before that, and then a Grade 3 sprint as well. So she was in really good form, but she couldn't handle the Grade 1 company at 1 mile and an 1/8 with a fast pace. Now, this race isn't much easier. A lot of the horses that were pressing her are back in here, and some others as well. Joe Bravo is going to ride, and she's going to be a pace factor, but this turf course has not been favoring front runners at the current meet. Number 4, Dogtag, 4-1 morning line. Richard Mandella, Umberto Rispoli is going to ride. He rode her in the possibly perfect last time out, and she stalked the pace, took over, looked like she was on her way to victory, but she couldn't hold on, and she ended up missing by a head that day. But that was 1.25 miles, so now she's cutting back to 1 mile and a 16th. That should be just fine. In the Grade 2 Royal Heroine against Charmaine's Mia, she rallied from 6th to finish 2nd, beaten a half length. She did win the 2020 Possibly Perfect, and she's one that Rispoli has ridden her to victory before, and she's probably going to sit a good trip. She's versatile. She can sit in mid-pack and try to pounce. She's got some tactical speed, and I would not be surprised if she ran a better race at this shorter distance. The 5 Brooke, 12-1 morning line. This one, Rispoli rode the last couple times, but I just mentioned that he was riding Dogtag. So Kyle Frey is going to ride this one, and he's a good turf rider from Northern California, and he's having a good meet at Del Mar. He's 8 for 35, so he's winning at 23% at the current meet. She's very consistent, 11 starts, 5 wins, 3 seconds, and a third. She's got tactical speed. She ran well in the Oceanitas, a restricted stake last time, stalking and missing by a half length. This is a tougher group here, and she's making her 3rd start after a layoff. Number 6, Keeper of the Stars. She's won for trainer Jonathan Wong. That she's jumped up and she's won some races. She won in 2020. She won the Grade 1 Gamely, beating Bodhicitta. She's been able to win some other graded stakes like the Buena Vista in 2020, a Grade 2 race. She's got tactical speed, and she's going to probably try to make first run. But she is 0 for 4 with no top 3 finishes at Del Mar, but she is 3 for 4 at this distance. She's won at 12-1 morning line that might try to outrun her odds, but she's going to have to rediscover her best form. She was 4th in the Gamely, not a bad effort considering the fast pace, but I think the pace is probably going to be too fast for her again. The 7, Ippodamia's Girl, 12-1 morning line. Nice effort last time in the Oceanitas. I mentioned that when Brooke finished 2nd. That was a restricted stakes race at Del Mar at 1 mile, and she rallied from 7th in the 9-horse field to win by a half length. So that was a nice effort from off the pace, and she's probably going to try to go off the pace again. She's one that used to be like to be on or near the lead, but now in her last start she rallied nicely, and since Richard Baltus has taken over the training, that's the 2nd time that she has won from a bit off the pace. So I think that they're going to try to come from off the pace in here, but she could be up against it from a class standpoint. The 8, Princess Grace, shipping in for trainer Michael Stidham, and she's done nothing wrong in her career. 5 starts with 4 wins and a 2nd. In the Grade 3 Valley View, as a 3-year-old filly last year, she was 2nd, beaten a half length. Then the Mrs. Revere off the turf race at Churchill Downs, a Grade 2. She took over tracking the pace and won that one easily. And then her first start this year at Parks, a Grade 3 stakes race at 1 mile and 1/16 on turf. She stalked, she won that one. Her late pace ratings in her last 2 stakes wins were very good. She's an improving, lightly raced 4-year-old filly, and Kent DeZarmo, a profitable turf rider, takes the call, and she's versatile. She can stalk. And they can kind of put her anywhere they want to early. And I think with the fast pace, she's probably going to come from a bit off the pace. Number 9, Maxim Rate, 7-2 morning line. She won the Gamely, but she was 13-1 that day. She's not going to be 13-1 this time. They're going to bet her down. She's fairly consistent. Going back to June of 2020, she was on a nice exacta streak. I think in 6 of 8 races, she finished 1st or 2nd. Except for her 2 Grade 1s in the Jenny Wiley and the Matriarch, where she was off the board. And then in the Gamely, a lot of pace help. She stalked from 4th. She got a jump on the late runners, and she won by a half length. From an outer post, she's probably going to stalk wide this time. She is 0 for 2 at this distance. She's 2 for 6 at Del Mar. Decent win in the Gamely. The race probably could set up for her again, but I'm not thrilled to bet her at 13-1 when she was 13-1 last time, and she's only 7-2 this time. And then finally, number 10, Laura's Light. 15-1 morning line for Peter Miller, yet another horse with early pressing speed. On the main track last time at Gulfstream Park, she was 9-2, and she really didn't get involved. She was 6, beaten 15 lengths. She's much better on turf, although she did win a stakes race in the slop at Lone Star on May 31st. She won that one by 4. But she's a turf miler, and she's going to be up on the pace, but it really doesn't set up for her, and the outside post doesn't do her any favors either. So we're looking at a good pace here. Maxim Rate, obvious contender, but I think at 7-2, she's an underlay because these horses typically take turns beating each other, and you don't want to take a short price. Would not be shocked if Bodhicitta ended up winning this one, and she could be a fair price, but I'm not going to pick her on top either. I'm going to go in a different direction. I don't know about the horses coming out of the Gamely. They're going to take a lot of money, and I think some other horses in here are interesting, like number 4, Dogtag, my second choice, for trainer Richard Mandela and Umberto Rispoli. I think the cutback in distance is really going to help her, and she could run a good race. I've always liked her. She's finished in the top 3 in 8 of 10 starts on turf with 4 wins, but I'm going to go with the shipper in here, number 8, Princess Grace. 4-year-old filly, lightly raced. She's fired every time. She's versatile. I think Mike Stidham's found a good spot this race should set up for her. She looks like the best finisher based on her recent late pace ratings, and I think that she can just rumble past these under Kent Disarmo. I don't know if she's going to be 8-1. I would be happy with 9-2, 4-1. I would take a price like that, but nothing really lower than that. And she is firing bullets at Fair Hill for this race. So Princess Grace, my top choice in the Grade 2 Yellow Ribbon. Let's go to Sunday, August 8th now. This is the Grade 3 La Jolla, and this will be race 9 at Del Mar. And $150,000 is the purse for 3-year-olds, a mile and a 16th on the turf course. 9 p.m. Eastern time is the scheduled post time. Number 1, Stilleto Boy. Kent Disarmo is going to ride for Ed Moger Jr. Nice victory last time out when she was running for, when he was running for trainer Doug Anderson. And in that race, in the Iowa Derby, got out there, controlled the pace, won easily by 4 lengths. This is going to be the first start on turf for this one. But the dam has produced 4 turf winners, so I wouldn't be shocked if he was able to handle the surface. But we're going to see. And then how is he going to deal with some pace pressure if he gets some? And he may get some pace pressure from number 2, Wyfire. Kyle Frey is going to ride for Peter Miller. This one was bumped at the start and didn't really get out of the gate against Optional Claiming Company, stretching out in distance last time when he figured to be up on the pace. But he wasn't able to get into the race early. He finished 4th, beaten 2 lengths. Not a bad effort. His turf sprints were good. His lone win, 5.5 furlongs on dirt, the summer of 2020 at Del Mar. So this one, I think he's going to be a pace factor, and I think he could press or try to take the lead over number 1, Stilleto Boy. So those two look like they're the main speed. A horse that will probably be stalking those two is number 3, Hudson Ridge, for trainer Bob Baffert. This one is a son of American Pharaoh. Galileo is the dam sire. And the dams had 3 starters, 3 winners, and then 2 of those won on turf, including Hudson Ridge. Hudson Ridge won the Cinema Handicap May 23rd at a mile and an 1/8, stalking the pace, and then won an optional claiming race at Santa Anita at a mile and an 1/8, again stalking the pace. And Flashiest was the runner-up last time out in that optional claiming race, came back, and that one ended up winning the Oceanside. So Flashiest ran well on the Oceanside. Flashiest was a pretty good horse, and I think Hudson Ridge will set a good trip here under Abel Cedillo, and would not be surprised if he ran a good race. The 4, Cathkin Peak, this one in the Pasadena last time out, finished 2nd, but that was February 27th. Hasn't been seen since then. That was his first start this year. Won a couple races last year, including the Eddie Logan at Santa Anita, December 27th of 2020, rallying from off the pace. He's going to be coming from off the pace, and he did break his maiden at Del Mar at 1 mile, rallying from off the pace. So look for him in the stretch. Juan Hernandez is going to ride. Phil D'Amato is the trainer, and as I mentioned in the first race that I did in this video, he's struggling right now at Del Mar. Zoffarelli is the 5. Jeff Mullins is the trainer. This one has run 7 times. All those races were in Great Britain. 1 win in 5 seconds. Now he's 1 for 1 on all-weather ground, but he's 0 for 6 on turf with 5 runner-up finishes. So this will be his 3rd start of the year and first start in the U.S. for trainer Jeff Mullins. Drayden Van Dyke's going to ride and probably going to end up trying to rally a bit from off the pace. We see a lot of these overseas runners come in, and a lot of times they break slow and then try to get involved late. Finally, number 6, Sword Zorro, for trainer John Sadler. Umberto Rispoli is going to ride, and he rode in all 3 of the U.S. starts. This one did win a race in France at 7 furlongs on turf in Ireland. I'm sorry. She won a turf race at 7 furlongs in Ireland. That was October of 2020 at Leopardstown, and she won by 4 lengths. So that was a nice effort, and finished in the money in some other races in Ireland prior to that. A 1 mile race, he was 2nd, 7.5 furlongs, finished 2nd and 3rd in some other races. So very consistent there. Came to the U.S. February 5th of this year in the Baffle Stakes. Got too far behind early, finished 5th in that 6.5 furlong turf sprint. Stretched out in the Singletary $100,000 stakes race at Santa Anita on April 25th. 1 mile on turf, rallied from last to first that day. And Petruccio was 2nd, pretty solid horse that he ended up beating there. And then in the Cinema last time against Hudson Ridge, rallied from 5th, made a bid for the lead in the stretch, and then ended up finishing 2nd, beating a length and a quarter, clearly 2nd best. Now it's been freshened for this. I think this mile and a 16th distance might be better than a mile and an 1/8, and I would not be surprised if he ran well. 8 starts on turf in the career, 7 top 3 finishes, including 2 victories. So the way that this race shapes up is it looks like the 2 inside horses are going to show the speed. If one of those 2 get loose, would not be surprised if they ran well. Hudson Ridge, the 3, could end up getting first run, and I would not be surprised if he ran well. Cathkin Peak from Off the Pace, but D'Amato, as I said, is struggling. I'm going to go with number 6, Sword Zorro, as my top choice in the La Jolla. Sword Zorro ran well in the Cinema, won the Singletary before that. I think if the 2 inside horses can provide some pace, and maybe Hudson Ridge goes after them in mid-race and gets the pace even a bit quicker, I think Sword Zorro can rally and turn the tables on Hudson Ridge in this La Jolla. So Sword Zorro, my top choice in the La Jolla. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Make some comments in the comment section. Who do you like in the 2021 stakes races this weekend at Del Mar? And again, free selections that I mentioned before. I'm going to provide links in the description in this video for all of that. So if you're interested in any of those free selections or anything else, I'll provide links in the description in this video, and you can go and check those out if you're interested. And that will wrap up this week's video. I'll be back next week with another stakes race from around the country.